You guys, like we touched on in one of our previous videos, it is very safe to say that with the first round of the 2021 NBA playoffs coming to an end, there are plenty of teams we can put the spotlight on in terms of trying to figure out what they need to do in order to flip the switch and become more successful than they were this year. And you guys, one of the most daunting teams that has a long and very confusing offseason ahead of them is none other than the Portland Trail Blazers. And yes, if you guys have not figured it out yet, this is going to be the team that we are going to be diving into in today's video. Try and figure out what this team needs to do to get over the hump that they have been trying to clear for the last couple of years. And when I say the last couple of years, you guys, I am pretty much referring to Damian Lillard's entire career. It's a very harsh statement, I know, but it is true, and we are going to see what lies ahead for this franchise. As always, you guys know I am more than excited to get into another video here on the channel, but before we do, I'm going to save you guys the time and effort and give you 5 seconds to go down below and subscribe. Coming out with brand new NBA videos on a daily basis around here, you guys. Trust me, you do not want to miss what we got coming on this channel going forward. So for any of you guys that do this for me, thank you so much. But without further ado, let's get into this video. Now let's get back into the statement I just made where I said that this team has been trying to get over the hump for the course of Damian Lillard's entire career. Which, you guys, I know, when you hear that statement for the first time, it sounds like the definition of a stretch. So let's take a look into this, you guys. As we can see that the Portland Trail Blazers have made the playoffs 8 out of the 9 years that Damian Lillard has been on the team and in the NBA, which when you look at that stat in itself says that this team has been very successful over the course of the last 9 years. However, when we look into the fact that this team has only made it to the second round 3 times in this 9-year span and only made it past that to the conference finals 1 time, I think it's very safe to say that a lot of frustration has been brewing within this franchise, and this offseason is going to be the point where all of this built-up commotion is finally let out. And a part of mine and a lot of other people's reasoning for believing this is due to the fact of them firing their longtime head coach Terry Stotts immediately after this season ended, which also leads into the first and one of the more important points that the Portland Trail Blazers need to hit correctly this offseason, which is obviously hiring a head coach that fits well into the Portland Trail Blazers scheme right now, and on top of this, keeping Damian Lillard happy in the process. And I think it's also safe to say that this offseason for the Blazers could not have got off to a worse start, as it was rumored that Damian Lillard reportedly wanted Jason Kidd to fill in the Blazers' current head coaching vacancy, and then it seemed that just 24 hours after this rumor leaked of Damian Lillard wanting Jason Kidd on the Blazers, Jason Kidd went straight up to Woj and told him, yeah, there's no way I'm taking that head coaching job, so don't even put my name in it. Which was then immediately followed up by Damian Lillard saying he has and doesn't want anything to do with the Blazers hiring a new head coach. But either way, you guys, even with Jason Kidd saying no to wanting the Portland Trail Blazers head coaching job, I honestly didn't know how well of a fit he was going to be in the first place with this team. Not necessarily thinking about scheme and play-wise, more so with the fact that I think that there are better head coaching candidates out there right now for this team, which is definitely something I want to hear from you guys in terms of who you think would be the perfect fit for this head coaching vacancy right now. Because like I said, there are plenty out there right now. The Blazers have a head start in the head coaching hiring process, and I want to hear what you guys have to think about this. But you guys, besides the fact of the Blazers' current coaching woes, there is another aspect of this team that may be changed drastically going into the next season, and this is the question of if CJ McCollum is going to be returning next season in a Portland Trail Blazers jersey. And you guys know that this is another thing I want to hear what you have to think about it in the comments down below, because even though the media might not give this off or tell you this relatively, CJ McCollum was having a career year this year, averaging 23 points, 4 rebounds, and about 5 assists per game, also even hovering the border of the 50-40-90 club, averaging 46% from the field overall, 40% from 3, and 81% from the free throw line. Even after we know these statistics from CJ McCollum alongside Damian Lillard in this 2021 season, I think it's still pretty safe to say that a lot of us are not confident that this is the duo for the Blazers going forward. You guys do not get it twisted, because this is not a knock on CJ McCollum or his game whatsoever. This is strictly due to the fact that we mentioned at the beginning of this video, and that it might finally be time for some change in Portland. And getting rid of CJ McCollum might be one of the only ways this Blazer team has to see any substantial change whatsoever. But with a trade like CJ McCollum, you guys, I am also really curious to hear who you think that the Blazers would be able to get in return for a player like CJ. His contract is definitely on the bigger side, as just a couple years ago he signed that 3-year $100 million extension, and if this team was planning to get anybody on the larger side of the payroll, it would likely have to be through a CJ McCollum trade, as their cap situation is not the best right now. But again, for any Blazers fans out there watching this video, or any NBA fans in general, what do you think is the appropriate package to receive in return for a player like CJ McCollum? And then aside from the fact of looking at what the Portland Trail Blazers are going to do this offseason with their situation in CJ McCollum, we have another very interesting situation right alongside this, and that's what the Blazers are going to do with their newest traded for player this season, Norman Powell. Because I will will say myself, I was very surprised this year when we saw the Portland Trail Blazers trade away Gary Trent Jr. and Rodney Hood for Norman Powell from the Raptors. Because don't get me wrong, Norman Powell was and obviously still is a very solid player for any NBA team that he will find himself on. But with the Blazers trading for Powell and putting him in their starting rotation for almost every game this season, this left the Blazers immensely undersized against pretty much any NBA team they went up against. And I'm sure if you watched the Portland Trail Blazers postseason matchup this season against the Denver Nuggets, the fact of them being undersized against this Nuggets team played to their disadvantage more times than you could keep count, which seemingly puts the Blazers in a situation where I even hate to bring this up and say this, that they are ultimately going to have to choose between CJ McCollum and Norman Powell in terms of who is going to be playing the two going into next season. It's like I said, it was an interesting experiment, but I think it's pretty safe to say as well that it's something that will not work going forward. And with Norman Powell putting up averages of 18.5 points, 3 rebounds, and around 2 assists per game this season, definitely has the Blazers scratching their heads right now and thinking about who they want to pick going forward. But another thing, you guys, is if the Blazers simply just dump off CJ McCollum's contract to a different team and really don't get a lot of cap in return, who are some free agents that you know are going into the 2021 free agency class that you would love to see play alongside Damian Lillard? Because I've said it before and I will say it again, even though this free agency class doesn't seem like anything crazy, there are definitely a lot of gems in the rough that can be found and put into many different situations. Now, I'm not guaranteeing it, but if the Portland Trail Blazers play their cards right this offseason, we could see them pick and plug a lot of interesting pieces into this team going into next season. But all in all, you guys, with everything that I have mentioned in this video, more than anything, I want to hear what you have to think about this situation and what Portland should do going into this offseason. There are many things about this team that I missed and did not cover, the status of Jusuf Nurkic being one of them, so if you have anything new to cover as well in the comments, please let me know about that as well. I ultimately make these videos to interact and talk basketball with you guys, and all of your feedback means the absolute world to me. Trust me, I read every single comment. But on that note, you guys, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for watching this video today. One last time, if you haven't already, don't forget to go down below, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe as well. Brand new NBA videos on a daily basis, you guys, and it's free to hit that button, so honestly, it's a win-win situation in your part. But once again, you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you more than anything in the world. You all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.